5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time to count down reality TV's most talked about moments with Amanda Bella. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Bella Talks TV. This is Amanda Bella, and this is a part 2 of a 2-part episode. Sorry, you can tell I'm already like, ooh, I already spent like over an hour talking on my part 1, and I'm just back here again. I took a small break because, of course, Candy be acting up. So here she is. She wanted to be on camera for part 2, and we have a lot of mom talk stuff to get into. So I knew that I needed to dedicate a whole episode to itself on this. I wasn't planning to care this much. So to be honest, I didn't really have a guest planned. I have a lot of busy stuff coming up. I actually have an event tonight too for yoga that I still teach and still do. So I'm kind of getting this done and waiting. A small sidebar. I was just posting about how I love chopped salads, strawberry summer salad, not super close to me. It takes me a little while to get there, but like I will go out of my way to go get this salad, and it's obviously not cheap either. It's like a $17 salad. Well, today I'm so busy. I like never do this. I'm like, I'm going to get Uber Eats. Okay, granted, I did also get like a can of diet soda and a fudge brownie, but it was $44. So yeah, that's just how dedicated I am to making sure that I get this entire episode out today because of everything that's coming up. And I'm like, everyone is right now dropping bonus episodes, doing full episodes. All the interviews from all of the girls are out for Mom Talk. And it's a lot, I'm like, I don't want to be contributing, but like, I also feel like this is a moment in time and I didn't want to pile on. And I also didn't want my content just to be like lost in the sauce of so many different podcasts out there talking about this. But like I said, it's fresh in my memory. I watched it over the weekend. Even though I was in Detroit, I watched it in the airport. I watched it in the hotel. I watched it before bed. And when I got home Monday night, I finished it, which I had like episodes 5 through 8 left. And I finished it. And then I rewatched the whole thing yesterday. So it's deep. It's ingrained. I think I know pretty much what has been going on for the most part out in Salt Lake City. But, I'm sure with every rewatch, you start to notice things maybe you didn't notice before. And there were a couple parts that I had missed, I think. I'm not even sure, like maybe I had just like drifted off during some of the scenes, but some of the scenes I had to rewatch again. And I like definitely did pick up on new things. So you guys know I usually just go off of vibes, but I actually took 6 pages of notes. And I'm going to kind of talk about like all of the things, I guess, that I just felt called to write down. I'm not really sure I can call this like a recap because I'm not going to be breaking down every single scene and talking about every single thing that has happened. So you're still going to need to watch the show. But let's get into it. Let's talk about these moms because I'm fascinated. Again, as a childless woman, there could not be the quote, like it could not be me, like it could not be more, could not be me more than these girls. Let's get into it. So we all know Taylor. I'm not going to spend too much time because I feel like you guys are probably like, we fucking know by now who Taylor is. So we have Taylor. We have Whitney with the bob. We have Mayci, who is now learning that Mayci is a Pisces. It's making sense, you guys. I've learned that Pisces from what I understand, I don't have a ton of Pisces friends, I guess. I have a few that I do enjoy, but Pisces are all about like going with the flow, wanting everybody to get along, like kind of acting as like the peacemaker, like love that. Love that for Mayci. She's totally that person. Mikayla, who we don't get to know quite as well, but I think that there's hopefully saving a lot of these backstories for season 2. She's the one that has, she's the one that doesn't have makeup on as much because she has eczema, and as an autoimmune girly dealing with rosacea, you guys will notice most of the time, like my skin looks insane, but I don't let that I don't keep that from me from doing video or whatever, putting my face out there, because whatever, what are you going to do? Like it flares up, it goes through things. I have certain triggers. I have good days and bad days, and I just try to live my life and not let whether or not I'm having good skin like affect me from doing what I want to do. So I respect Mikayla. And then we have Demi, who seems to be the fan favorite. She's married to Brett, which is Angie Harrington, friend of Salt Lake City Housewives, ex-husband. We will get more into the husbands later. We have Layla, who is, she's a sneak. She is, I called Mikayla the sniper from the side because she, again, wasn't that involved on the show, but on social media, she's been getting scrappy. But I really like Layla, put it that way. She's the youngest and she's one of the coolest. We have Jessi, who is messy Jessi. She is my hair queen. If I lived in Utah, I would have no shame going to Jessi and getting my hair done, which is hard to say because I'm an Angie K fan. So I want to know, do Angie K and Jessi have a rivalry? And then we have Jen Affleck, which I don't even want to use that last name, but Jen, our sweet, sweet Jen. So that is the main cast. That is everybody. As far as we know from the Taylor of it all, she was the only one swinging. My personal theory, because I don't really get too much into the swinging of it all because I wasn't involved when it really happened. Of course, I heard about it, but I didn't know or care because I wasn't on TikTok. And then when I found out that they were doing the show, of course, I had a little bit more of an interest. And then beyond that, I didn't really know much about it. And then I believe it was August 26th, they announced the show. That was today is September 12th. For 3 weeks, we even knew the show was coming to Hulu. And then it gave us 3 weeks to get hyped. They were doing the promo, the interviews, everything. So here we are, September 12th. And a lot has happened. This show has totally taken the nation by storm. It premiered Friday. It is only Thursday. It's been 6 days. I feel like I've heard nothing about it, thought about nothing else, talked about nothing else, cared about nothing else for 6 days. So it's good to like get this all out of my system. This is why I have this. But okay, so I love this show because, again, if you guys don't know, I studied psychology and religion in my undergrad. So I'm extremely fascinated with how religion affects our culture and different cultures and how different people deal with it and different people's beliefs and why they believe what they believe, and getting to the meat and potatoes of why people just choose to think that the way that they do. Understanding people. I'm very passionate about it. So that's why I love reality TV. And I love this show because of the Mormonism of it all. And I really like how they broke the episode chapters, the show notes, into episode 1, the book of, episode 2, the book of. So they're all different books. So the first episode is called The Book of Taylor. And this episode is clearly like what they call a sizzle reel or whatever, like a pilot that was shot to shop around to get people to care into, investing in the show. So they do this, sizzle reel or whatever. They do this pilot, and it's really all about Taylor because Taylor was the main reason why there were even cameras being called to be out there in the first place. She has been very self-aware about this. She just made a TikTok 2 days ago that was like, when you expose all of your toxicity online or on TV, but at least you get your friends a TV show. And she's like standing there watching herself get arrested. It's like, yep, they really gave it to us all. And I was just talking about this on my Instagram about how these younger girls, they have a different thirstiness because they don't have any previous success to coast off of. unlike these OGs, unlike these people that we think we need, these housewives that we're like, oh my God, we need them, bring them back. The show can't work without them. Keep them on. Like, what? We're going to have no storyline without them. It's like, no, we need young women that are nobodies, that are willing to come on, that have real drama, that have authentic friendships, that have real storylines, not just like manufactured BS. It's when our housewives shows get to be like the Kardashians, where like everything is like a gimmick. Everything is like a scripted scene. Everything is just manufactured, and we want authenticity. So the reason why this show is so good, it's very authentic. These girls are ranging from ages 22 to 31 at the time of filming. So now they're all 1 year older since then. The oldest is Jessi. She was 31 at filming. She's 32 now. I mean, I did look up a lot of the girls' birthdays. Some of them are hard to find. And then you never know what's true. So yeah, all of the girls, they're girly. Taylor is the most out of all of them, who is the most controversial. She is really, a hot mess. And she gets arrested. She's soft swinging. Her ex, again, we're going to get into, I want to talk about the husbands, but we're kind of just talking about the first episode now. So they really get into a little bit of the history of being a Mormon on the show, which is, again, a big reason why I liked this. So they go over the rules, right? No smoking, no drinking, no doing drugs, no sex before marriage, no gambling, no polygamy, which a lot of people thought was part of this. No, the church outruled polygamy back in 1890. I mean, it's only been 130 years, but they actually originally thought the word from Joseph Smith from the Book of Mormon, from the scriptures. They thought that he said, marry as many women as you can because I want you to have so many children. We've got to have tons of Mormon babies. Get out there and start fucking once you're married. So they were assuming Joseph Smith was saying, okay, this means we can just marry as many women as we need to in order to have as many children because then we're fulfilling this word. Okay, so shows you how the texts are to be interpreted and how they can be subjective. There's all these rules, and part of being a Mormon is finding creative ways to get around the rules. A lot of Catholicism, a lot of other religions too. It's okay, well, this is the literal word, but it doesn't say I can't do this. And that is a big trick of religion and stuff, and a big part of why religion's really just your own journey, and being spiritual and believing in whatever you believe is your own journey. You can believe whatever rules you want. Just don't hate on others, but that is kind of part of it. So judging is a big part of it, judging is a big part of being a Mormon. So the first book of Taylor, they're going over the Mormon rules. They also talk about how you can only have one piercing. So that's interesting. I wonder if they chose to do that because, again, to modernize. Sometimes they're doing that to get younger people to still stay active members of the church. So they're supposedly starting to do that with LGBTQ and stuff now, where they're a little more accepting also of other races. Yes. Wow. Can you believe it? A time where people are accepting other races. It's crazy. So a lot of people, like I said, they're finding different ways to get around these rules. So in the text, again, it says specifically, I believe, you're not supposed to have hot beverages. And that's why they are not allowed to have coffee and tea. But then there's iced coffee and iced tea. That's actually not the problem. In the Bible or in the scripture from Joseph Smith, it just says that they're not supposed to have the hot beverages. And then they're okay, well, we'll just make them iced. And then they're okay, well, what about caffeine? And they're well, it doesn't really say no caffeine. And so they're okay, let's have soda. And so they have these cold sodas at 8 a.m. every day. And I'm obsessed with the soda culture. I'm going to post a whole video about it. I took a reel of the girls' orders. I'll post that up. But the number one thing out of all of these things, no tattoos, no all this stuff, is not having sex before marriage. Almost all of the girls have had sex before marriage. So let's go down the list. We have Taylor. So Taylor says that her parents and her church and everybody pressured her and her boyfriend, Tate Paul at the time, ex-husband now, to get married because they were having sex before marriage. So she didn't get pregnant before marriage, but they were having sex before marriage. Their family found out. Leanne found out. We'll get to Leanne, who is Taylor's mom. And so supposedly, a little sidebar here. So I saw a TikTok today of the trauma of all the girls, and it's this candy trauma video. And what they do is they come on video, they say their biggest trauma, and then they say what candy they brought, and they pour it in a bowl, and they all put their candies in a bowl together. So they are doing this TikTok, and Taylor says that when she met her biological dad when she was 4, he just said, like, "What up, kid?" And I can't tell if she's joking because she does a lot of these TikToks. One of her biggest TikToks, she said, was when she faked being a grandma and being 50 years old and telling and like holding her baby, saying it was her grandchild. You know, she can do some of these like things for likes and stuff. So I'm not sure if that's like actually true about her biological dad. Whoever Leanne's husband is now, if that's not her real dad, he looks exactly like Justin Rose, and it's weird. Like, what's going on out in Utah? All the men's, they all kind of look the same. Okay, Taylor obviously had sex before marriage. Then we have Mikayla. She was 16 when she had sex before marriage, and she got pregnant, and she's still married to her baby daddy named Jace, but he was 21, and they're 6 years apart. They've been married for 6 years, and that actually, at the time of the law, that would have been considered statutory rape because you can't give consent at that age in Utah, and it still has to be within a 5-year window and all of these rules. So he basically broke the law. No one's talking about it. They just skipped right over that in season 1, but we will see if that comes up a lot more in the next season. I love that they're like saving nuggets. Then we have Mayci. Now, Mayci says she also had sex. She also says that she smoked weed and drank alcohol before she was married. And so she actually had sex, and then she got pregnant, and she got pregnant by this guy named Eric, who then died 2 weeks later after the baby was born, or 2 weeks after finding out that she was pregnant, something like that. So her baby daddy died, and then obviously she was healing. She was on a healing journey while she was pregnant or raising this child, and she met Jacob, who is her now husband, who she now has another baby with. So we'll get more into the families later, but they had sex before marriage also. Then we have Jen, who I was really shocked that she admitted that she had sex before marriage because she is one of the most devout of the group. She wears her garments every day. And if you guys don't know what garments are, they basically just look like silky grandma like pajamas that you wear like underneath your regular clothing to remind you that you are abstaining and that you are committed to somebody. I would love I would love a world of that. I would love to put my husband in some garments. Not that he like needs them, but it's just like, yeah, you should be thinking about me all day. Everybody should be. I guess that's what rings are for. So then, yeah, I was really surprised that Jen admitted that. Now, Jen said that she met Zac when she was 18. It's clear that she lost her virginity to him. They went on to get married and then had their children afterwards. So they did things pretty by the book, except for the fact that they broke, before marriage. Then we have Layla, who Layla also admits that she also got pregnant. It was a shotgun wedding with her ex, now husband, that she's divorced at 22, which we'll get into that later in the season. But she also had pregnant. And then Jessi never says whether or not she did not have sex before marriage, but it's Jessi. So not to judge. She's the least devout. And I'm just assuming that she did not wait till marriage. So I believe the only person who did wait for marriage is Whitney, which she says it was like a comedy/horror movie. I believe it because her husband is gay. So anyways, those are just kind of going over like the girls and the rules that they've been breaking and like kind of where we're meeting them in this first episode. Okay, so let's see here. Let me scroll. Okay, so another thing is who's divorced. So a couple of the girls were actually married and divorced before they're with their current partner's baby daddies. So Demi, she was married and had her daughter with her ex, now husband. I was doing a deep dive on Demi. She has had so much work done, you guys. Like at first I was like, damn, she is so cute and natural. I am blind. She's had so much work done. Go look at her old Instagram. And then we have Jessi again. We know how much work Jessi's had done. I don't have to say it. But Jessi was also married and divorced. Now there was some controversy and rumors about Jessi was that she actually cheated on her husband with her current husband while she was pregnant with her ex-husband's baby. But she says it's not true. She said that she was already separated and going through the process of getting divorced while she was pregnant from her ex. when she started dating her new current husband that she's married with, that she has another child with. Lots of blended families. Then we have Layla, who we just talked about, is married and divorced at 22. So I think those are the only girls that were, and then obviously Taylor. No, we talked about Taylor. Oh yeah. No, Taylor was married to Tate Paul. Okay. Yeah. I can't remember. Did I talk about everybody? I think so. Those were all of the divorces. Okay. So more on the rule breaking. Who drinks? Like who has drank or who actively drinks? So Taylor is someone who has drank, obviously. We saw the body cam footage of her wasted in that first episode, but then she gets pregnant. So she has been sober because she's been pregnant. Now, I saw her do a funny TikTok, I think when the baby was 2 days old, and she was like, okay, I've been sober for 2 days. It's like, okay, give it time. Now, she is obviously with Dakota, who's in recovery. I'm wondering if they're going to go on a recovery journey together now, if she's going to stay sober. We're not sure. I don't know. I don't follow her on TikTok yet, so we'll see. And then, okay, so then we have Jessi. Jessi obviously drinks. So she's drinking on the show. She's drinking, taking shots with her husband in the hot tub at Zac's graduation party. And then she is also drinking wine at Layla's divorce party. So, and then I think she was also drinking in Vegas. So Jessi drinks throughout the season. Then we have Demi, I don't actually know if she drank on camera because she didn't let everybody know like Jessi did. Jessi is an open book, this girl. I'm obsessed with her. And but Demi, admits to drinking before. She tells a story about her and her husband both being wasted and being at some of the swinger parties. So they drink. And then Jen has tried alcohol. So she does not currently drink alcohol, but when she was not, as devout, she did dabble. So it's very interesting who has been breaking the rules. So that's just kind of some of them. Some of them have tattoos. Layla has a very tiny literal tattoo that is the size of a pin dot on her ankle. So she's tatted. And Whitney has daddy tattooed on her lip, which I found very controversial. So Whitney says she's never tried alcohol, but when her and Connor move into their house, their realtor gives them a bottle of champagne and they try it for the first time. And Whitney's rinsing her mouth out in the sink afterwards. She thinks it's so disgusting. So I guess I kind of believe her. Lots of Welch's sparkling hard cider floating in all of the scenes. You'll see. And lots of soda. So yeah. Okay, so the names of the kids. Let's run down the names of the kids. We got some good celebrity names in here. You guys know I love a celebrity name. I got to check on my phone because I look, make sure my $44 salad's not getting 5 minutes. Okay. I'm going to have to pause at that point. Okay, let's try to get through these kids' names. All right. We have Indy and Ocean. Indy and Ocean. Those two children belong to Taylor Frankie Paul and Tate Paul, her ex-husband. Her now baby daddy, Dakota, their baby that they just had on the show, his name is Ever True. Probably the best name I've ever heard. Ever True Mortensen. All right. Indy, Ocean, and Ever True. Those are Taylor's kids. Harlow and Hudson. Any guesses? Those are Mayci and Jacob's kids. Now again, Mayci had Harlow, the daughter, I believe, with Eric, who died in the car accident right after they were pregnant. Then we have Liam and Sedona. Those are Whitney's kids. Whitney and Connor. Liam is obviously the boy. Sedona Sue is the girl. I think Sedona Sue is a really cute name. They're having a new baby coming soon. The gender is going to be a surprise at birth, and we'll have to wait for the name. I'm counting on you, Whitney. We need something crazy, girl. All right. Layla's 2 boys with her ex, Clay, Oliver, and Max. Cute. Classic. Then we have Demi's daughter with her ex-husband. Her name is Maud. Cute. I'm into it. I wonder if it's a family name. I like the name Demi. Like, you don't hear that too much. It's like the perfect name. It's just enough where you hear it where you don't get sick of it. Then we have Jagger, Peyton, and Jovi. Those are Jessi's kids. Jessi and Jordan, her husband. Again, remember though, the first baby, which I believe is Jagger was born with Jessi's first husband. We don't talk about him very much. There's a lot of mystery around that, and we're saving that for season 2, hopefully. Then we have Nora and Luca. Those are Jen and Zac's kids. They're really cute. Zac looks inbred, but Jen is beautiful. And those kids are really cute. The eyes are so precious. They're like little Pixar kids. And then we have Beckham, Haven, and Tommy, which I feel like is so random. Like, must be a family name. Beckham, Haven, and Tommy. Tommy, one of these things is not like the other. But those are Mikayla and Jace's kids. Yeah, those are all the names for all the children. Very interesting. My $44 salad is rolling up, so we're going to take a break here, but I will be back after this, and we will continue on this recap. Hey. Welcome back, you guys. Okay, I got my salad, took a bite of my brownie. It's delicious. Okay, so we got through the baby names and let's see. Okay, so while we are discussing families, we have to talk about Taylor's mother, Leanne. Love a strong-minded and strong-opinioned Leanne, but slightly triggering. So we first meet Taylor's mom, Leanne, like right in the very first episode. Like, she comes in hot. She has no problem expressing, that she's a little that Taylor's a little disgraced, right? Like, she's like, you've been doing some dumb stuff. You've been doing some bad things. And the mother is aware. And what I've come to find out is that Taylor tells her mom, like, willingly, and I'm not sure like why or what relationship, or it's only season 1, but I'm hoping that we see more of Leanne and Taylor, because I need to know more about like their dynamic, what happened with Taylor's father, and just what's going on there, because there's a lot, I feel like, to unpack. So yeah, Leanne. Now, Taylor, like I said, Taylor tells her mom everything, and Taylor also admits that her mom is a wackadoodle. She's like, my mom is a little insane. She's like, you guys are going to meet my mom, and she is going to blow your socks off. And she was not wrong. Leanne, throughout the episodes, we'll be talking about her, but just had to introduce her as a main character because she's insane. And just like the amount of pregnancy that is going on in Utah is crazy. It's just blowing my mind, because even my friends now, like as I'm approaching 40, like a lot of my friends still don't have kids. Like, I'm like, we're just all part of this like specific part of millennials that never had kids because we took longer to get jobs, which took us longer to get married because we didn't feel like we could date until we like had jobs. It's just different than Utah. Like, you don't really need any of those things. You don't need to have a career. You don't need to support yourself. You just need to get married. So it's just a whole different culture going on out there. So I've been saying culture all the time lately. Culture is like one of my buzzwords right now. So, okay. And then in this first episode also, we are meeting Whitney, of course. We're meeting all the girls. And it's like, somebody pointed this out too. Like, Whitney's moving back from Hawaii, but they're in a car. So how does she have all of this stuff with them? Just boxes and suitcases and stuff, I guess, of certain things they needed to fly with? Because they're driving this car, but they're like, okay, we just got back from Hawaii. They just got off a plane. So is it a rental car? Was this scene just shot and picked up for the show? Were they really like, there's just a lot of mystery around Whitney living in Hawaii for 2 months, moving so much stuff there that they would have to move back when it's only been 8 weeks. It's just a lot. It basically sounds like they went on an extended vacation. Like, they spent summer vacation there, which I'm not sure what Connor does. I can't remember. I'm sure it's insignificant. We meet Whitney. They're driving. It's a lot. It's a lot to see them get into the house, and kind of just like Whitney's overall attitude does seem pretty judgy and very stereotypical, like higher, holier than thou Christianity. So she, of course, is like one of the most devout. So it's just always this constant line of like, the judgier and the more almost like insecure you are, the more religious you are. It's like a flow chart that goes up at the same time. So yeah, it's a lot. And then, okay, so that's basically episode 1. Like I said, this isn't really a recap, but I just kind of want to go through what's going on in the episodes. At the end of episode 1, Taylor's like, they kind of flash forward and they give us a preview of the whole season. And there's this quote of Taylor being like, okay, did I hurt your life or did I help your life? Because she's, people are blaming her for the scandal, but then also there would be no show without her. There would be nothing without her. show some respect. Yeah, Taylor just knows that she's kind of like needed for the show. And then I guess that there were rumors that she was not going to come back and do the season. And that's maybe why filming took so long to pick up between episodes 1 and 2. It was that Taylor did not want to come back and was really like not wanting to do it. And they basically were like, okay, well, if we're not going to do it without you, the show will just like not exist. I mean, to come back and film an entire season after that and having girls coming for you, I would be lolling in their faces, lolling all over the place. So very funny. Okay, so episode 2 is called The Book of Belonging. And I think it gets a little bit more into these dynamics of these friendships and whether you're in or you are out. So they start to address all the rumors, right? All the rumors have been addressed between episode 1 and episode 2, between all of the Dakota stuff, all of the Connor rumors about Whitney and Connor moving, the gayness, the Tinder, the grinder, all that stuff. There's rumors about Layla and her divorce and why that happened. There's rumors about Jessi and her divorce and why that happened. There's rumors about why Demi is dating an older man and they've both been divorced before. You know, there's rumors about all of the ladies, like everybody's bringing something. We talked already about the rumors about Mikayla and her husband and him being older and it being a little bit rapey. So there's every woman on this show has been cast by production is just gold and is a golden goose and is going to be laying golden eggs. And we need to have every egg will be a new season. So yeah, episode 2, we're starting getting into the mix. Now this is what we realize about production, of course, is they have to have things for these women to do. Like, again, they aren't just sitting around in their sweatpants filming TikToks all day. Like, they're having parties, they're having events, they're throwing things, and production, I'm sure, came in and was like, okay, girls, like, this is how we do this. I don't know if there's a budget or what, but I'm sure, I mean, these girls do make their own money. So that's one thing about them is that they could afford to throw themselves a party, especially when there's no alcohol at them. That's like the most expensive thing. So they each have a party. Taylor's the first one to get to have a party. She has her baby shower for her and Dakota's upcoming shower. So now we start to meet Dakota more. And we never see Taylor's ex-husband on the show. We also are not going to see, I think she said, their son or something. Like maybe one of the kids will be on there, but not the other. Yeah, something about that. But Tate, his name, Tate Paul, he will not be, I guess, featured. He was part of the swinging and he apparently was like into it. So that is what I've heard. So anyways, Dakota is Taylor's new boyfriend now, and he is insufferable. Like from the second this guy gets on camera, it is giving if Scott Disick and like Spencer Pratt and like, I don't know, I can't even come up like who's a house husband that's really thirsty, like John Fuda, like if they all got on camera at the same time that are like, they're like, oh my God, the camera, the red light, oh my God, I'm here. Like, let's talk, let's do this. It's like, oh my God, like it's a lot. And to find out that he is a recovering fentanyl addict is really hard also. Now he's 31 now. He says he started his addiction when he was 17. So, I mean, that is a half a life ago for him. I don't know how long he's been sober. I can't remember. A couple of years, 2 years, 1 year, maybe something like that. He does say his addiction is life or death for him. So I appreciate that he's taking it seriously. Now, we didn't even really talk about the body cam footage. Again, you guys know what happened. I'm sure you've seen it. Like, I'm just trying to like get through these episodes, but Taylor and Dakota sit down for that first time and it gave me chills. It gave me the little hairs on the back of my neck stand up. This guy just like loves being on camera way too much for me. But with that being said, Taylor is certifiably toxic. Like, I do believe that she is the problem and that he's actually, I can't believe it. He actually, I think, is just like mentally ill in his own like addiction and probably like needing to feel validated, needing to feel good enough, needing to feel worthy. Like that's kind of just like self-love stuff that he's struggling with. But Taylor is toxic with a capital T. Like she really doing the Lindsay Hubbard abandonment storyline of like, I'm going to push them to see how much they can take. And then if they leave, then fine, like, see, it wasn't meant to be. And I've seen this playbook before. So I wish her the best on this relationship. Now, Leanne, okay, so Taylor has the baby shower. And everybody comes from mom talk except for Whitney. And this is very controversial to everybody. Whitney, this is Whitney's first time, doing this. And kind of, I guess, drawing a line in the sand. Basically, like she's the first one to throw stones. She's the first one to throw hands. She's starting shit. And Leanne is not having it, where Taylor's mom is not having it, of course. She's like, I'm going to call her and find out. So I think, of course, production is probably like, Leanne, you should call her. I don't know if Leanne's like this crazy to do this on her own. I wonder if somebody might be encouraging her to do these things. And if she is just doing this on her own, then she is diabolical. But she calls Whitney on speakerphone and is like, why didn't you come to my daughter's baby shower? And Whitney was like, I think that's a conversation for me and her to have, not us, you weird old lady. And doesn't even answer her, which was actually kind of funny. So Leanne 0, Whitney 1 on that one. That was kind of funny. But that's kind of how the second episode ends. So then we start the third episode called The Book of Saints and Sinners. And this is dealing with the fallout from Whitney not coming to the baby shower, and all the girls are together talking. And this is also when we get introduced to Zac, who is Jen Affleck again. Zac Affleck. I'm sure you guys have all been hearing. You all know this guy by now. This is where we meet him, and this is where we get to know like all of the dramas. So we basically start to learn that Zac is the root of all evil here. So episode 3 starts with Jen getting to plan a graduation party for Zac graduating from Brigham Young University, BYU, the famous Mormon university. I have questions. 1, he's 27. Why is he just now graduating? I was 21, just turning 22 when I graduated from college. So I'm confused about that. I know they go on missions. That's usually only for a year. So we've got lots of years there that are missing, you guys. So I need answers. Number 2, we go on to find out that Zac gets accepted to medical school. Now, in this first scene, Jen is saying Zac just graduated and got accepted to his number 1 medical school in New York. So the fact that he already graduated and he's already accepted, I mean, I believe it. It's a plausible timeline. It's just like, it's a lot. We never hear the name of the medical school. Medical schools aren't private. Why not? Why not is what I would like to know. We also go on to find out that Zac's dad is a surgeon. His grandfather was a surgeon. There's a lot of pressure for him to continue the bloodline of the surgeons. So there's a lot of deep-rooted stuff here. Now, they have this graduation party planned, and all the drama starts to lead back to him, because what starts off with this graduation party is that everybody comes. The whole cast is invited to come to this first filming event at Zac's house for his graduation party. Jessi and Jordan bring a little flask with some vodka in it and some Mountain Dew, which triggered me right back to my freshman year at Western Michigan University on campus, drinking Mountain Dew out of a 2-liter with a 5th of vodka, grape or strawberry flavored or something, in a basement somewhere. Like, that was Diet Mountain Dew, and vodka used to hit for me. Seeing them drink that was really funny. Now, this was pretty innocent. Nobody was wasted. It was literally like, I think producers, of course, again, was like, we gotta like have some drama. And Jessi was like, I'll fucking do it. Like, me and my husband, like, we drink, like, we'll bring some alcohol to this party. So they do it. And after this, nothing happens on camera. Like, Jen is visibly upset and uncomfortable that they are doing this. But Zac's not like calling anybody out or saying anything or doing anything. He's going with the flow. He's being cool for the most part. Because you know that he plays it cool. And then when he gets home behind closed doors, he's a demon. So they have this. Also, the amount of soda, again, being consumed makes me envious. I love it. I love the soda. I'm having a Diet Coke, which is not my typical soda, but that's what Chopped gave me with my salad. So, okay. So why is Zac just graduating? What school is he going to? Because then Jen posted a video 1 month ago that said, she's so proud of Zac going to medical school, but it's all pictures and videos from his BYU graduation. There's no pictures of him on any campus. There's no pictures of them visiting, or there's no pictures of them moving in anywhere. It's like very confusing. Now there are rumors. I think she was on Nick Viall's podcast saying that he's actually attending school in in Arizona, but it is a part of the New York medical school that is still unnamed, that we don't know what school it is. It's giving like Sunrise University or what is it? I'm sorry, you guys. And this is like no shade. I actually feel bad even saying this, but like, what is that university online? Like SNHU or the ones that are like the online universities. I don't know where he's going to medical school. It's very confusing. So, or what kind of school he got into, or what kind of medical or what kind of surgeon he's going to be. Like, they're saying there's rumors of it being an orthopedic school, which would be a foot surgeon. I'm just not sure. Okay, so I'm very up in arms about the Jen and the Zac of it all. Now, we know that he gets home and he tells Jen off camera, you cannot be friends with these people. I don't even want you filming with them. And then she probably compromises and says, okay, what girls are you willing to allow me to film with? Because then all of a sudden Jen is like, okay, in the future now for this next event that I'm having, the baby blessing for their new baby, for Zac and Jen's new son, Luca, is that only some of the girls get to come and they're the most devout ones. It's Mayci, Whitney, and Jen, and is that it? Mayci and Whitney are the only ones that came? And Mikayla, which I always find interesting that she's very devout too. So yeah, pretty much drama all starts because of Zac's graduation party. Because if they had not brought the alcohol there, then Zac wouldn't have had a problem with them filming the baby blessing all together. And then a lot of this saint versus sinner stuff would not have started, except for, of course, Whitney was still involved in a lot of the drama. So we still have her stuff, but a lot of this Zac stuff started there. Now we move on from this party. Demi has a Galentine's Day party. I love how all of the girls get to throw a party at some point during the season. It's very cute. So Demi has a Galentine's Day party, and Jen reiterates to everybody at the party that Zac's not going to allow certain people to come to the party. She blames it on them not being that close, blah, blah, blah. I really have to wonder what would have happened to the show if they all did go to the baby blessing and that rift was never caused. But we will never know. Now, Fruity Pebbles ruined me, you guys. I've seen a few different things online that are different explanations. Some I believe more than others. Either way, they're all gross. And I am all for sexual liberation, but I love Fruity Pebbles and I don't know, it's ruined for me. So yeah, I really, really, really turned on Whitney in this episode when she decided to use this inside joke, this inside story that was told off camera, not on the show, against Demi. Like Demi says in that moment, the gloves are off. It is war. And you will see for the rest of the season that Demi really does come for Whitney and vice versa. So that was episode 3. Episode 4 is called The Book of Truth. And, this is our first trip. This is our first cast trip. So they go to Park City, which is funny because it's literally the next door city. So usually at least they drive 2 to 3 hours out of town. But I think with Taylor being pregnant, all these things, like they were like, okay, let's just go down the street to Park City. So they go to Park City. They get this like cool penthouse. The ladies are excited, which is fun to see these girls like being so excited about doing cast trips and stuff. It's refreshing. So they go on this trip, and as soon as they get there, Demi explains, aka the producers explain, we're going to do a truth box. Everybody's going to anonymously submit things, because by now they're thinking, okay, we've been filming for a couple of weeks, and like Whitney's already quit filming because she didn't go to the baby shower. And we're losing girls left and right. Girls are just talking behind their backs. They're not saying things to each other's faces. So production has to step in, and they're like, what can we do to get these girls to confront each other on camera? Because we're doing a lot of individual scenes here. We're doing a lot of 2-on-1s, but we're not getting to the meat here. The girls are not confronting each other. So there you have the brilliant idea. We're going to do the anonymous truth box. All the girls submit questions, which I'm sure, again, all the questions are from production. And the very first question, well, not the very first one. There's some funny ones in the beginning, some sexual ones, blah, blah, blah. If you were a girl, or if you could hook up with any girl, if you could hook up with anyone's husband, that kind of stuff. But then they pull the card and it says, Taylor and Whitney. Whitney, are you just jealous of Taylor's clout? And Whitney goes on to explain that the reason why she didn't go to the baby shower is not because she's jealous of Taylor's clout, but that she's having a hard time dealing with the fact that Taylor caused this huge scandal, blew up everyone's lives, and then was forgiven so easily, and people just got right over it when Whitney did this RSV dancing video of her in the hospital. And basically she's still getting every single day getting death threats. So she did say that. So I have to believe the girl, but she's like, this is why, I'm still getting death threats over here, and Taylor's fucking moving on to somebody else already, and she's back filming and everything's around her. So Whitney's pissed. She's like, okay, it's clear that she is jealous, but she's like, no, I'm just sad that I didn't get the same sympathy or whatever. So they're starting to confront each other a little bit, but then this starts a war. Like this starts truly a scene that will go down like in reality TV history. So once we bring up the RSV video, then Taylor gets the question too. Taylor, would you leave Dakota if you found out Dakota cheated on you in the beginning of you guys starting to see each other, because he said he only kissed a girl? There's rumors he actually effed this girl. We don't really know the truth. We're still on a cliffhanger. Then we have another question that says, well, Demi said that Jen was acting too Mormon. So if you're going to call me out, I'm going to start calling everybody else out on what they're saying behind each other's backs. So then Demi has to start to defend herself about what she was saying about Jen being too Mormon, which Jen does seem to be a little bit too Mormon. Then Whitney, and this all leads back to that Whitney's telling everybody. They're like, wait, how did you hear I said that? How did you hear I said that? How did you hear I said that? She's like, all came back from Whitney. Whitney's running her mouth. So they start doing producer flashbacks of Whitney telling everybody stuff and getting messy. And so now Jen starts to call out Demi, and it's like crossfire. Like she's like, well, you did this. You called Taylor White trash. And then she's like, well, I only called Taylor White tried to sleep with my man. Brett, Angie Harrington's ex, she's trying to swing with him. And then she's like, well, I only was trying to do that because you were taking your shirt off in front of my man. It just starts a war. And it is really interesting to see how they all just start calling each other out. It's exactly what production wanted. Everyone, I mean, I imagine this scene must have went on for like 5 hours. They're so exhausted when it's over. They all just like go and pass out. They wake up the next morning, they're already doing TikToks together again. It's kind of iconic. And it really shows like what this show needed, what reality TV needs. Again, we don't need these deep feuds. We don't need these year-long feuds. We don't need these things going against people's like families and things being like so serious. Fight, get over it, make up. Fight, get it out, bring up your point, fight, rinse, fight. It's like, it's okay to fight and get over it and move on. We cannot be doing the same fights for years. Okay, off my soapbox about that. So then finally production is like, okay, guys, this is great and everything. Like we're getting stuff out, but like we need one-on-one scenes of you guys like really getting some resolution. So Whitney and Taylor are called upon the hot seats, and production is like, it's time for you guys to go sit down and like really figure out what your issue is. And from the second they sit down, like I start to see Taylor in a different light. Like she really is like, I don't think she thought that they were besties, but she really, I think, was blindsided by the fact that Whitney has been like talking so much shit about her and like blames her for so much. Because right away, Taylor is like, so what is the deal? Like, please just tell me. And Whitney is so defensive. She starts doubling down. She keeps being like, I don't know whatever I said to offend you, but like I would say it again and all this stuff. And it's just not getting anywhere because Taylor's really trying to be like, listen, I'm pregnant. I want to move on. I think we have the future of mom talk to worry about. Like, we have got to get to the problem, the root of our problems so that we can move forward and at least be like frenemies and or like coworkers. And it's just not happening. Whitney's not having it. She was hired on to be the villain. And so once the other girls can hear them, like they're all sitting down there. This place isn't that big. It is like a 2-story hotel room, but like, with an open, like a lofty upstairs where the girls are sitting. So they can hear what they're saying and they're like, oh my God, Whitney's like fucking blowing it. Like she's doubling down. She's not admitting anything. And Demi is just like, I've had enough of this. So she invites herself to the party and she goes up there and she butts right in there. And honestly, it's iconic. She starts calling her out right away. She's like, Whitney, you're lying. You said this. I can hear you. This is not good. Whitney just keeps going on and on being like, I don't think I need to explain myself because we're not friends. And she's not getting that you're on a television show, babe. These are not your coworkers. Like you do have to explain yourself. You do have to engage. Like stop disengaging. You can't be Meredith. Okay. You have to engage. You have to. You're not housewife status yet. And Whitney just says that Taylor's mad or Whitney says that she is mad that Taylor is still the queen bee after the scandal. Like, she kind of admits off camera, like in her confessional, like, yeah, I'm mad, but she won't say it to their face, which is the problem production's having, which is why they're trolling her. They're like, why are you sitting in your confessionals talking shit, admitting to things? And then when we put you in a scene with people, you don't say anything. We need you to work, sister. So then they find out another little nugget that comes out is that Demi and Whitney did ketamine together. I mean, a lot of people are shocked by this, that this would be allowed by the church. It's medical, I have to say. Ketamine, a lot of people don't realize you get your wisdom teeth pulled. There's ketamine in that. Like you're getting ketamine in surgery and you don't know it. Doesn't mean you're like tripping. So them doing medical ketamine, I understand for therapy. They weren't like getting effed up. I don't believe. They did love the laughing gas at the Botox appointment. I didn't talk about that very much, but I mean, it's clear that these girls, like I said, like to find loopholes in what they're allowed to do. I can't smoke weed, but I can definitely get ketamine therapy. Doesn't say that in the Bible. So Taylor was genuinely blindsided by all of this, by Whitney not coming to the baby shower, by all this drama being surrounded by her. And she's just trying to explain to her like, yo, I understand, but like I did invite you to the very first group event filming at my baby shower and like you not coming, it was just weird and awkward for everybody. Like, just explain it. And she won't do it. And again, that's why Demi starts to get in there and starts to like call things out. And she talks about how Whitney admitted to her when they did the ketamine that she said, I just did that video for sympathy, the RSV dancing video. She admits it was just for sympathy, instead of that. Her whole defense has been like, no, I didn't know. Like, I just was like in a fog in the hospital and like didn't realize it was coming off that way. But like, she actually intentionally did that for sympathy and likes. So people are pretty grossed out by that. Using your children for sympathy and likes is not, it's weird. It's like when Sheena used Summer Moon to be like, oh, Sheena, she got blocked by Tom Sandoval. It's like, don't bring her into this. Ugh. Just to make people feel bad for you and your weird Sandoval relationship. So, okay. So basically the fight goes on and on and on. The girls start to disperse. Whitney goes, sits in a closet and starts crying. And then I love that part that they're like the Minion Fest, that Demi says Minion Fest. That was one of my favorite parts of that episode. Jessi says that Whitney uses people and throws them away as soon as she's done with them. And then Whitney starts to cry in the bed and she's like really having one of those like narcissistic breakdowns where she realizes she lost a fight. She's like, I feel like such a pussy. Like, she obviously quits the show after this. It's like she could not handle the fact that she lost a fight, like one argument. So she was probably not made for this, but also totally made for this. Now the girls are in their confessionals kind of going over this, and everyone is like, Whitney is a victim of her own chaos. Like, they see it. They're seeing the light. They're like, she causes things and then she's the victim. And Mayci's like, well, she has a very interesting way of handling things in life. Like, she runs instead of resolving. So the girls are totally like seeing Whitney's MO here. It's not looking good for Whitney. Now, production somehow gets them all to get out of the closet, stop crying, get dressed, and come to dinner. This is where Whitney cries in the bathroom and then comes out with the toilet paper on her shoe. And it's just like her confessionals are so cocky. And then they're juxtaposed with the scenes of her crying and being so weak and a victim. So it's just clear that she's portraying something different than what she really is. All right, let's take a quick break here and we'll come back for episode 5. Okay, so episode 5 is called The Book of Broken Vows. And the episode starts with the girls going to get sodas at the shop again. I'm posting the clip to my Instagram. I'm obsessed with their orders. I love all of their soda orders. I want to go to one of those swig shops so bad. I'm going to go to Utah just to go to one. It's Jessi, Demi, and Layla going there. And I love that little group. They're starting to call themselves, again, the Saints and the Sinners. And so this is the Sinner group getting together. Love them. They're lolling about Whitney leaving the group chat. After this huge thing that happens at the girls' trip in Park City, Whitney leaves the group chat. It's very clear it's for sympathy and, again, for likes and for clout. And it's just like the RSV video. Like, she just does things for public opinion. And this is a true warning. And let this all be a warning to all about the dangers of social media. So Mayci, again, is a textbook Pisces. She's also very optimistic, thinking that Whitney can just come back and move forward from this. She's like, yeah, this is going to be fine. Like, everything's fine. And it's like, no, girl, things are on fire behind you. Then Taylor and Dakota, they come over to Jen's house and to see Jen and Zac, and they're getting ready to have this baby. They're like, we need to make sure this man can change a baby diaper. Like, let's have him over to Zac and Jen's. No, I have to say, Zac seems like a good enough dad. I mean, I think Jen does say she wants him to help more, but it's not like his kids are like afraid of him and stuff. Like, he looks like he's like a decent dad or whatever, knows how to change a diaper at least. And they do this whole scene, and it just, again, makes me so scared of Zac. Like, Jen is like, they walk in and Taylor's like, wow, is your house always this clean? And Jen is pretty much like, yeah, if it's not, like, Zac's not very happy. It's like, oh, every single thing. It's like not even a shocker anymore that Zac is OCD. Like, great. Yeah. Everything has to be his way. In this episode, Layla goes to get a tattoo. And again, this is controversial. They're not really allowed. And then later, there's a part where in Macy's baby mama launch event, Mikayla comments on how there's a tattoo artist there. And she's like, ooh, this is a little controversial that like there's a tattoo person here. She's like, I would never get one, but like, I guess if other people want to do it, that's okay. So people are really judgy about the tattoos out there still. I thought that even, okay, my body is a temple. I get it. I guess. So, okay. So the girls go to the paint room, and this is again another controversial, pivotal moment because they go on to do this thing. They do not invite Whitney because again, Whitney left the group chat, and Jessi's like, well, literally, how do we invite her if she's not in the group chat? Like, they're not getting that. Like, I guess someone could call her. Production's not like, hey, you have to call her and invite her. Like, they just basically just ignore her, which is kind of funny. And then she sees them post on social media, and she's like, Connor, she's home, making cookies with Connor. And she's like, what the hell? They're all like at paint without me. And he's like, yeah, but didn't you leave the group chat? It's like, yeah, like everybody around her is able to realize like if you didn't leave the group chat, they probably would have invited you and you'd be there. You're causing issues. So, okay. It's just a lot for the Whitney, but they're in the room and they're all talking shit about her. And they're like, she's just going on and on about how she doesn't care about whether she's friends with everybody. She doesn't care about what Taylor did. She doesn't care if anybody doesn't like her or not. And don't care if people, because of the rumors or whatever, she doesn't care if people understand her. She's just doing her. And it's not true. She actually cares the most. And she's so insecure. She's totally faking it. And it's so obvious. And she's just saying like, okay, anyone who doesn't accept me the way I am, like, then fine, just like, don't be friends with me. And that's that part in that fight that Whitney and Taylor had in Park City was she's like, okay, that's fine. Like, she basically was like, I don't regret anything I did. This is who I am. Like, if you think I'm a shitty friend, then just don't be friends with me. And then all of the girls are like, yeah, you're being a really shitty friend. It's like, I'm not going to be friends with you. And then she's like, well, holy crap, no one's being friends with me. And it's like, she's not getting that she's causing it. And that's called not being self-aware. So we love an unself-aware queen on our villains. So the paint party is big. It's kind of when Whitney realizes the girls are not going to call in and check on her. She starts to like really separate herself and like kind of quit the show from that point on. Now, Mayci starts to do this baby mama photo shoot because she's doing the launch of these natal vitamins and stuff that she created, which the story was so random. Did you hear her say, like, I named it baby mama because I was hearing the story about this transgendered couple that was using IVF. And I just decided, and I was like, oh, that's like your baby mama. And it's like, but it's not though. And that's interesting that you got it wrong. And then now your whole company's based off of it. But hey, the vitamins I'm sure are great. So it's just really funny that this happened. So Mayci does this photo shoot though, and they're like, oh, we'll have Taylor be a model because she's pregnant, she's gorgeous and whatever. So she comes in and she brings Dakota to the photo shoot, which first of all, it's like, if you were the girl doing this event and the man was brought. Now, I'm sure the excuse was like, I didn't have childcare because Taylor's child is there too. And she's like, I had to bring Dakota. But then also it's a very clear production set them up to have a controversial moment where Dakota came because he heard Mayci's been talking shit. And all these rumors are starting to swirl about whether or not Dakota had been cheating on Taylor in the beginning of their relationship. And Mayci has tea and things are starting to come out about Dakota. And production is really pushing to try to get these rumors about Dakota to come out on camera. But Mayci doesn't want to do it because Taylor is pregnant and she doesn't want to cause problems with Taylor. And she just like wants them to figure it out on their own. So there's this kind of fight between Mayci production and Taylor and Dakota. That's like, it's like all the Spider-Man like pointing at each other, like, are you going to bring up the rumors? Are you going to bring up the rumors? Are you going to bring up the rumors? Like, who's going to bring up the rumors? And finally, the rumors start to all come to a head, and it really starts to send Taylor into more of a spiral of her being like, I can't believe I'm going to have a baby with this guy. I can't marry this guy. Like, he totally, like, I can't trust him. Like, there's so many problems in this relationship. It reminds me a lot again of Carla and Lindsay. It's like, what are you doing together? You are so incompatible. So the fact that Dakota comes, and then again, I really want to blame this on production. I cannot say that this would be his idea, but all of a sudden this man takes his shirt off and starts taking unsolicited maternity photos with Taylor during this photo shoot. He is not part of this baby mama stuff. He is not even supposed to be there. And now he's getting free maternity photos that are giving me the ick. So that was so weird. Go to the next scene. It's Layla's divorce party. Not much happened there. This was one of the lesser parties. It's kind of just to get to know Layla better. Not a lot of drama happens, except for the fact that Whitney makes her first like comeback entrance after leaving the group chat. She shows up at Layla's divorce party, and it's awkward. Again, nobody's checking on her, and she's like, what the hell? It's like, yeah, girl, they don't like you. So Whitney tries to pull Jessi and is like, it's not okay for you to run your mouth. Like Jessi's telling Whitney, it's not okay for you to run your mouth to all of us. You're causing drama. And then Whitney immediately changes the subject and is like, yeah, but no one's checked on me since I left the chat. It's like, we're not talking about that. We're not checking in on you because of your behavior of you running your mouth before you left the group chat. You can't, it's like doing something new and then being like only addressing the newest thing instead of going back to the thing that happened before. It's like the news cycle. It's like putting new news out so that the old news will get buried. Not going to happen. Jessi is just like not having it. I love Jessi. Now, Whitney also is like in her confessional after this fight with Jessi, and she's like, I guess I just have a totally different perspective of what happened. And that is her way of basically rationalizing with herself, being able to excuse herself from being wrong and apologizing. Is just to be like, well, I just see things differently. This is just my truth. I hate when people say that. This is my truth. So then Taylor has Mayci over to talk about Dakota after this. Like things are, again, production's really pushing to get these rumors out. We're getting towards the end of filming here. Like we probably have a couple of weeks left. We got to get these rumors out before this baby's born. We got to know. So Mayci is a queen for calling all of the men out about being untruthful, being deadbeats, being pieces of shit, being too traditional, all this stuff, instead of just enabling. She's like the one wife. And, it seems like it's just not enabling the men, which is very, very refreshing. Again, in the friend group, Jessi too, I guess, is kind of giving that. All of the other girls seem pretty like, what's the word? Typical gender roles. But when Taylor has Mayci over to talk to Dakota, or production has Mayci over to talk to Dakota, it really just ends up being a fight with Taylor and Dakota again. And the rest of the next 3 episodes, Taylor is fighting with Dakota every second until this baby is born. It's quite sad. So we go into episode 6. It's called The Book of Sin. And this is where Jessi invites girls over to do the pussy painting because she's getting a labiaplasty, which again, I really tip my hat to Jessi. Like, she is so open and honest. She totally admitted that her pussy is just jacked up. I don't know if I could be that strong, but she is a really good reality TV star. They did so good with her. I'm really impressed with all of the girls. They all seem to be pretty open and honest. Even Mikayla talking about having stomach issues and like shitting all the time. I was like, I was not expecting that from little Mikayla. Okay. Jessi's got meat curtains. Demi loves Fruity Pebbles. Like, these girls are scandalous. So Taylor tells her problematic mom, Leanne, that Dakota's been fucking up and they've been fighting every day and that he wants her to surrender to him and get married and just like do the damn thing. And Leanne's like, you should just prank call him right now and tell him that you're pregnant. Like, this woman is psychopathic. You don't call somebody and fake that you're in labor. And even Taylor or even Dakota is like, what the fuck? It's so funny because Taylor's kind of like I know it's like a unisex name, but I keep thinking Taylor's the guy and Dakota is the girl in this relationship, which I think a lot of people have been struggling with. So it is a menace to society. They call Dakota. She's basically like, you guys gotta get your shit together before this baby comes. And then this is where Whitney's basically like MIA and kind of, again, quits the show. And then the show is like, okay, we need to pivot because we don't have our villain anymore. So production is like, what other things are going on? We need to lean into the Taylor and Dakota drama. And we need to lean into the Zac and Jen drama. And we need to lean into the men. The men are bringing the drama. So all the girls are pecking for this trip to go to Vegas, which, again, it was introduced to them basically as a birthday trip for Layla. But I think it just happened to be with production shooting that it was Layla's birthday. And that they're like, okay, where can we take these people on a cast trip? Close enough where Taylor can come because she can't fly. It's a 6-hour drive. I looked it up from Salt Lake City to Vegas. So they get in the car, Zac, Jen, Dakota, and Taylor. But again, not after they were like 3 hours late to leave because Taylor and Dakota were fighting. These people, I know couples like this, that you're waiting for 4 hours because they're in the room fighting. Absolutely not. So they're fighting, whatever. And then Dakota gives the creepiest hug too. He's like, can I give you a hug? That was very reminiscent of the Carl hug. A lot of crossovers in my brain here. So they're going to Vegas. This is a big trip for all of the girls. It's obviously a trip to try to get them to do some scandalous things for the show and to kind of end the grand finale of the show. Let's see what we can mix up here. Now, again, because Taylor is so pregnant, Dakota weasels his way into this episode. It is like, I have to come with my pregnant girlfriend. I'm going to Vegas. And then they're like, okay, well, we need somebody else to come and drive and do this. I don't even know if Dakota has a license. I've never seen him drive a car. then they get Zac to come to Vegas with Jen. And then this is where all the girls start packing for this trip and things start to come out. They're packing and Demi and Brett are hilarious. I kind of love them. Brett is like giving her Mormon outfits to wear while she's in Vegas. And it was kind of a funny, cute scene. Things I've read online that are like, Brett's a little bit of a freak. He's been married 3 times now. So again, one of them was Angie, and Angie doesn't seem like a prude. So yeah, older man teaching his younger girl a lot of things. I think that's called grooming, but it wasn't underage when they met. Actually, it was underage because I think that she was 9. Oh my God. I think she was 9 when she met Brett. So God bless. I can't even really go down that right now. So Brett and Demi are hilarious. They're packing. And then they go over to Zac and Jen and they're packing. And Zac is a menace again. He is showing her his lucky poker hoodie. He's like, if I zip it up here, you can't see when my veins popping out when I got a good hand. And you're going to give me a bankroll, right, babe? And she's like, oh my God, but yes, if you lose it, I'm going to kill you. And like, it's just a really messed up power dynamic in that house with Jen being the breadwinner and giving him money to go gamble. That's clear enabling. Why is it okay for Zac to gamble when it's clearly not part of being Mormon? And he's very devout and won't let her not even wear her garments. Like, it's so hypocritical. And everybody's calling it out too. They're like, Zac is a fucking weirdo. And he's a full-on addict, gambling addict. So the moment I left my body was when Jen was going, I know that Zac is a gambling addict. I know that Zac is a narcissist. But no one has ever loved me more than Zac. Spoken like a true brainwashed cult member, handmaid. I mean, Jen saying that rocked me to my core. She met him when she was 18. Like, how do you say no one's loved you more than that? You didn't even know anybody before that. It's just, yeah, of course no one can love you more because you don't know anyone else. That's like, of course, that's like, what is it when you make something true because it's like the only option? A self-fulfilling prophecy. I can't believe I have notes, you guys. I really killed it on this episode. I hope you're still with me here. We're making it through, you guys. We're in episode 6. Okay, they're going to Vegas. Zac is a menace. Dakota is coming. Dakota says, I have to come. My biggest problem is that I care too much. Sigh. And then everybody hates Zac. Everybody's talking shit. Everyone's like, no men allowed. They put the labias only sign on the door, which everybody ignores. And then this is again when things start to really ramp up with production, trying to get Mayci to tell Taylor the Dakota cheating rumors. And then they're like, okay, what are we going to do when we're here in Vegas? Like, they're all in the Airbnb. Like, the guys have left. And then Jessi's like, get ready because we are going out. And so the girls get ready. They don't know where they're going. And then it is revealed to them that they're going to Chippendales. And Jen loses it. She immediately knows that this man told me when we were packing the other day that I better be ready to be a single mother if I do anything Chippendales or Magic Mike related. So she was already given a warning. She didn't tell the girls, I cannot go because he specifically told me that if she can't tell them because then they'll be like, that's insane. So she just kind of goes along with it until it goes on too long. And then she has to confess to Zac. And that's where we pick up in episode 7. So episode 7 is called The Book of Trust. They're all at Chippendales. They're backstage. They're oiling the guys up. Really the only guys, like, I think Layla and Jessi were the only ones that touched the guys. And then they took a group picture. Like, it was so innocent. They're sitting in the club. The show hasn't even started. There's no one else in there. That's as far as this goes. Before Taylor decides to leave because Dakota's pissed now too. Again, production, I think, said, okay, it's great that this is a surprise, but like someone needs to tell the guys that you're going so that we have drama. Otherwise, this is just going to be a fun girls' night, which is great. But they wanted the drama. Production was working very hard here. And they said, Taylor, you text Dakota and tell him you're here. Because then you know that he will tell Zac and Zac will tell Jen and it will all swirl. It's exactly what happened. Zac starts to flip the F out on Jen, telling her, I want a divorce. I don't love you anymore. You're a POS. You're worthless. And this goes on until 2:00 in the morning, which I think at this is like 8. Probably it started at 8:00 all the way till 2 in the morning. That's when 6 hours of this. Jen finally leaves. Cameras are down. Production is done for the night. She gets in a taxi and she goes to find Zac and they talk all night to resolve things. All of the girls are like, what the actual fuck? This guy is the devil. So Demi and Jessi specifically are like, and Mayci too, are like, we've had abusive exes. We're not standing for this. This is not what mom talk is for. We do not allow this and enable this. We're not going to allow this to be portrayed on the show as something that we put up with. This goes against our whole brand. They're pissed too. They don't want Jen to be in Mom Talk probably if she's going to be like this, because this is not a good look for all of the girls. This is supposed to be about female empowerment. So this has been going on all night. They go to me. Demi immediately is like, you guys, this is unnecessary drama and it's unfair, but like, okay, you can leave if you want to. Taylor leaves, the rest of the girls stay for the Chip and Dale show. They all go back, and then they're kind of dealing with the aftermath the next morning, trying to figure out, like, first of all, where is Jen? She left without telling them where she was going, and she never came back. So they're worried about Zac like, literally killing her and burying her body in the desert. And then they're also just worried about her well-being in general. They do love Jen, but they finally get a hold of her. They're calling, and then she picks up. And the first thing, I wrote it down here because I was like, I need to know the direct quote. The direct quote from Jen when she calls, she says, "Hi, oh my gosh, things are so great. It was honestly so needed. It's like it needed to happen. You needed to get berated. You needed to be told that you were worthless. You needed to be threatened with divorce. You needed to have your kids taken away from you. You needed that. You thought that needed to happen." Okay. This is bad, guys. I've been there. It's really, really sad. I'm also realizing that Dakota's fighting a lot with Taylor. He's 31. She's 24. There's a lot of big age gaps in this group, and it shows. It shows a lot of miscommunication and a lot of non-frontal lobe development. So at least they get Dakota to show up, though, and make up with Taylor on camera. They're laying in bed at the Airbnb. Mayci's in the hallway with Mikayla, eavesdropping, trying to find out what the hell's going on with them. And then that's when the alarm goes off from production to remind Mayci, you better go tell her about these rumors. And she still is like, I do not want to put this girl into labor. I'm not telling her. So they're still dragging this out. Even though, again, filming is about to wrap and we got to get these rumors on camera. So when Jen comes finally to meet up with the girls, they really try to do an intervention with her. They're like, we're not going to let you do this. We're not going to let you go back. You have to sort this out. We have to find out what's going on here. But eventually she cries to get out of it, which is another, I've been there. Just cry and break down, and then nobody will ask questions and they'll just feel bad and they'll be, okay, let's just let up on her. So unfortunately, Zac dragged them all into this drama. And Jessi also brings up the point that he not only went after Jen, but he went after every single one of the relationships, talking shit in text, and they have proof of all of it, and they're not happy with what was said about all of them. So, he's like, oh, Jessi's trash for doing this, Demi's trash for doing that. Like, he's very judgmental against all of the women. And it's just very clear that Zac did not want to be associated, but that Jen was like, listen, I'm the breadwinner. I'm the one making money. You blew all the money that your parents gave you for medical school. I'm doing the show. So then this finally leads us into the last episode. Again, we're going in with a lot of cliffhangers at the end here. Taylor is miserable. They open to her just crying that she's having the baby with Dakota. Setting into her that this baby is coming. Her and Taylor aren't doing any better. They're fighting more than ever. And it's clear that she's like, okay, I'm accepting that this man is going to be my baby daddy, but like, I don't want to be with him. She's distraught. And hopefully she will eventually learn not to tell her mom all of the drama and to maybe confide in her friends and some other people that aren't going to, make things worse, because her mom is what we call like a force multiplier. So anything you tell her is just going to make things like worse or better. So Taylor's confronting Dakota about the DMs finally, that Mayci has finally told her, I got a DM. Heard Dakota was cheating on you before you guys, were made it official. And I think the other unspoken part is that maybe she was already pregnant and that he was still sleeping around, and that's why it's like extra hurtful. So even though he denies it up and down, which is obviously a lie, he actually says it like this. He goes, 100% I didn't do that. And he looks down to the left. And I don't know if you guys remember from Scandalous and some other true crime things, like looking down to the left is usually a telltale sign of somebody lying. He was looking down to the left hard when he said it's 100% not true. So I do think that he slept with this Jenna girl. in the time that Taylor was pregnant. So speaking of being pregnant, Whitney is getting kicked off the show at this point. She's refusing to film, but surprise, she's pregnant with Connor's third baby, and she pees on a stick and puts the pee stick in the cake and gives it to her family. And I was just like disassociating. I think it's like a last minute attempt. I hope it was either to save her marriage, to save her spot on the show, something to stay relevant. Or maybe she wanted 3 kids. Well, Jen and Zac sit down on the couch, and I remember they're back from Vegas. All this drama's gone on. Everybody in fucking Utah hates this guy. And now she's got to sit down, and she's like, you know what? Me and Zac have been praying a lot. We're getting back to a good place. And she's like, I see the potential. And to me, I get it. I know what she's saying. The potential is I see that this guy's going to be a heart surgeon. He's from a rich family, distant cousins to the Afflecks. And that's the potential. The potential is a lifelong life of, you know what you're getting. Stability, and also like some people want to be in that. She probably wants to be a ranking Mormon in Salt Lake City society. So that's what she's going to get. She's prioritizing that. And that all comes from her revealing that she was actually homeless in high school, and that her mom, as you guys might remember, is actually a cleaning lady at the hospital that his dad is a heart surgeon at. Yeah, it's really hard, you guys. Like, I see that Jen knows that this is her ticket. She is only 24 years old. So like, I think she will figure out as she gets older that it doesn't matter. But at the time right now, it matters. Like, this is her stability. So she needs this, and she doesn't want to have a broken home and be homeless again. I think she knows if something were to happen, Zac would probably take every penny from her. He'd probably take the kids from her, and she would be in that car living again, and she cannot have it. So she says that when he got into med school, like, you know, that this was what their dream was, and she was going to support him and everything. But I, again, cannot find anything that he's actually going, that she is supporting him. I mean, she basically explains to him too, like, I know you want to go to med school, but like, what about me? And what about my livelihood? Because I want to be able to continue to make my own money. And he literally says verbatim, I don't really care. I'm defeated at this point. Then Taylor gives birth. Says it was like the happiest moment of their relationship, which I agree. But little ever true. Praying for you, buddy. Mikayla's birthday is the finale party. It's the last thing. Like I said, everybody got to throw a party this season. Mikayla's birthday is it. This is, again, Whitney's last attempt to have a big moment, showing up unexpected, having everybody turn. Oh my God, is that Whitney? Is she here? And nobody cares again, though. Nobody goes to ask her how she is. No one goes to ask her why she's there. After about 10 minutes, she's like, okay, I guess I'll go actually try to talk to Mikayla. Mikayla's also like, I don't care. She's like, oh, I brought you a gift. She's like, I don't care. There's just a lot of I don't GAF, or what do they call ID gaff behavior going on. Like, no one is giving a fuck that she's there. And so she's like, okay, I guess I'm going to leave. And then she leaves. And I think her plan was to come there, and she was wearing this big trench coat. And I imagine underneath there was something like painted on her belly, some kind of shirt that said she was pregnant. Like, I think she was going to try to do a reveal, but when nobody cared, and not even Mayci was like giving her the time of day really, then it just became apparent that she was like, I better just go. And she left, and supposedly she quit the show, but she's doing all the promo, and I'm sure that will change. She's going to be postpartum when they're filming. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. Whitney has an IMDb page. I think I talked a little bit about this earlier. She's an aspiring actress. She's been in a couple low budget indie films. I think she's willing to literally do anything to make a name for herself. And then the final scene of the show is Mayci driving in her car. She calls Jenna, the girl that Dakota supposedly slept with while he was pregnant with Taylor. And Taylor says, Whitney, oh my God, you can tell the girls now have all gotten to me. You know, Dakota, has sworn up and down that he did not cheat, and Taylor has said that she would 1000% leave even after the baby was born if she found out that Dakota had cheated. So they're kind of teasing us of whether or not Taylor is going to actually leave Dakota, but I don't think so, you guys. I think that they're going to stay together. They're going to have to lean into some of this other drama and this other backstory for season 2, and probably not rely so much on the Taylor and Dakota of it all. But yeah, you guys, I mean, supposedly Whitney quits, and that's really like the end of the show, which is insane. I've given some predictions throughout that I think of what's going to happen next season. We have to talk a lot about Mayci and her backstory. We have to talk, I would like to see, like, I don't know, I'm interested to see I mean, I'm watching the interviews going on. I just listened to one yesterday that was Mikayla, Jessi, Layla. Like the girls, I guess it's still kind of saints and sinners. Jen is doing a lot of the promo with Whitney, which is interesting. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. But yeah, you guys, I'm going to stay on Zac Efron watch for you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for following and going around, going along on this journey with me again, as always, every week. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now make sure that you follow this page. Make sure that you share this episode with someone that you think you're going to like it with. Please help me get my engagement up. I've been working hard at this for a while. I don't usually ask for a lot of engagement and stuff, but help a sister out here. Leave me a review, share an episode, and stay tuned because we have lots of stuff coming up again. Week we're going to be talking about probably more about the Dubai reunion, probably more about Orange County, probably more about Salt Lake City finally premiering. We'll have drama, and I will see you guys all next week. Make sure again, rate, review, follow, subscribe, all the things. All right, love you guys. Ciao, Bellas.